What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for today. Overall, guys, we did end up hitting some underdog plays, and I started tracking underdog. I do want to eventually get it into this graph right here because it's just all the parlays, so I'm working on that right now. And I'm going to change the title of this to PrizePicks / underdog, or maybe just like parlays in general. But on PrizePicks so far this year, guys, we're up 32 units. We have not had too great of a February. It's been very even. It's been a very just like slow burn type month, other than really like Super Bowl weekend a little bit, which is unfortunate, right? Because, I want to find consistency in winning. And this month we just really have not had it. So this spike up, pretty much this whole graph is so far this year in 2026. So this was probably the first 25 days of the year. We had an incredible rise up. We went up about 70 units in that time frame. It was a great time, right? And then we did go down a little bit the beginning of January. And then I would say probably like right here is the beginning of February, probably right about here, because this was the Super Bowl weekend, and the Super Bowl happened, I believe, on February 8th, okay? So this was about the first week. We were taking a lot of Super Bowl plays, which, that's kind of how it goes a lot of times, is when you're taking a lot of plays to get set up for a day, you're going to go down a little bit because then there's going to be a payoff for that day, which was the Super Bowl. We went up about 15 to 20 units that day, which was a pretty solid day, right? We're happy about that. And then really since then, it's just been a slow burn down, right? We've hit some 5Xs, we've hit a couple of 9Xs here and there, but we really have not found much consistency on PrizePicks this month. And again, is it the end of the world? No. Does that mean the sky is falling? No, right? We've been through this periods of time before. It's not that big of a deal, guys. You have to understand that, long term is long term, okay? I mean long term. And, over a course of 1 to 2 weeks, anything can happen. And I know that sounds like a long time, but at the end of the day, that might be like 50 to 60 bets. Again, that might sound like a lot of bets to some of you guys, but you can easily have losing streaks in those 50 to 60 bets. Really, you need to have hundreds of bets over a long period of time to understand this. This is the graph between 2024 and 2025. You guys see it. You guys know how to read graphs, and you guys will see that we have won quite a lot. Still, this year, we are up 32 units, all right? So is it amazing? No, but it's still profit. And then on Underdog, I've tracked this, so far we've only had 5 bets on Underdog. Trust me, Underdog is a huge opportunity, and I'm going to keep sending out a ton of Underdog slips. If you're one of those people who only wants to bet on PrizePicks, that's fair. I'm not going to force you to bet on Underdog, but I'm telling you guys right now, if you did not hear the news, Underdog adjusted their payouts. So their payouts are now 3.5x for 2-mans and 6.5x for 3-mans. And I've talked about this the past couple of days. I can't emphasize enough how important this is, okay? Not only for Underdog because the payouts are so good, but for the rest of the industry, because now the rest of the industry is pretty much put on this timer of like, hey, you better match our payouts, or, we're just going to keep marketing that we have better payouts than PrizePicks and stuff like that. So we did hit a 3.5x on Underdog right here. Okay, this was this morning. We did also hit a 3.71x on Underdog right here. That was last night, okay? So right here, we go up 2.7 units because of this entry. We go up 2.5 units. 2.5 units because of this entry. Now, if you took this play on PrizePicks, okay, these lines were probably offered on PrizePicks, you would only have gone up 2 units, okay? So still, you would have been like, okay, 2 units, I'm happy about that. But 2.5 units is obviously a lot better than 2 units, guys, okay? This is, again, sports betting is a game of inches, okay? You need to be able to find these discrepancies and these good payouts and these closing line values right here. Going into some of the losses, of course, we did miss on Underdog right here on this channel, which is unfortunate. We do have a setup going on also on Underdog, so there's another play that could potentially hit for us there. And then there's a James Harden discount that was given on Taco Tuesday, and the game is happening right now. I didn't screenshot it for some reason, but we could hit a 3-man because of it. Fingers crossed, of course. This was yesterday's play. The plays on the YouTube channel the past couple of days have been complete trash. So again, I'm sorry about that. I'm transparent though, guys. I'm gonna show you guys the wins and losses. Sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes you're gonna lose picks. Victor Wembanyama, he played absolutely horribly. He shot like, I don't know. He shot horrible. I looked at it at halftime, and he was like 0-6 or something like that, and he only got 12 points. And then this play right here was, it wasn't close because this guy got 9 out of 5, but this was a 3-man that we potentially could have hit. Same thing right here. These guys kind of hit together earlier in the day, and then we were hoping that these guys would hit together, and unfortunately they did not last night. Okay, so these 2 picks could have easily hit. They unfortunately did not. And then this pick did not hit either. And I talked about this one yesterday when I sent this out, and I said we're gonna find hopefully closing line value on these picks, and I'm gonna check these games tomorrow night or last night, and I'm going to see if there's closing line value. And again, there was, right? We got this guy at 10.5 and his line pushed all the way to 12. Okay, so think about if you get Jokic at 10.5 and 10.5 rebounds, and then his line by game time bumps to 12. That would be amazing value. Okay, that is how you beat PrizePicks. That's how you beat Vegas long term, is you find these discrepancies and you find these closing line value lines, and you're able to bet them at 10 and they bump to 12, and you're happy because you got a 2-point discrepancy or a 1.5 point discrepancy on these. Now, he got 8 kills, so he didn't even hit it anyway. But that's how betting is sometimes, right? Sometimes this guy's going to underperform. Sometimes the team's going to lose. We got really good closing line value. It was the bet for this team to win. This guy barely hits over at 12. It was kind of a messy entry, right? And again, I'm going to be transparent about that, but we did get closing line value. So, again, it was kind of a back and forth day. Hopefully you guys are tailing on Underdog. I've been talking about it the past like 4 or 5 days. The year is 2026, guys. You need to have other sports platforms in your phone or your computer or whatever you bet on. You need to have different accounts. With Underdog, you play $5, you get a free $75 to bet with, guys. If you don't have Underdog, I'm begging you to get Underdog. We're going to play probably like 5 to 6 entries going forward on Underdog every single day because it's that good. They seem like they're going to keep, their payouts how they are. And I mean, you guys see it on Underdog. We're already up 5 units and we've played 5 entries. Okay. So again, that's short-term results. So I'm never going to brag about short-term results. I'm very long-term focused. Anyone can be on like a 5-0 run and brag about it and all this stuff. I found a really good article by Unabated, and it was how to be a professional gambler, how to be a professional sports bettor. And I know this is kind of boring stuff. You guys probably just want to find the picks and leave, but this is good stuff. This is what I talk about every day, right? Long-term versus short-term focused. Be desensitized to fluctuation, right? Bet non-emotionally, all right? We can be happy when we win. We can be a little bit frustrated if we have a close loss, but don't go on a tilt, right? Be desensitized. Think about this as a business, and again, keep EV in mind, which EV is pretty much expected value. I bet they talk about closing line value, some part in this thing. Yeah, they talk about closing line value right here. It's more than just results. So I bet it's talking about, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you need to find something like closing line value that's going to be a strategy long-term, or that you're able to find value long-term. I don't really know why they have a calculator, because it's literally just, finding value in line differentiation. But anyway, guys, you guys get the gist. I talk about this kind of stuff every day. Some days we're going to go up 20 units. Some days we're going to go down a little bit. Some days we're going to have, a kind of even day, but at the end of the day, we're going to stay strong. We're going to stay steady and keep winning long term. Okay. So 3 picks in today's video. Okay, 3 picks in today's video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. First pick of the day is on REBET. REBET's another one of those apps I highly recommend. Why? With Underdog, they have better payouts. PrizePicks, you can use correlation. So I'm giving you like the strategy on each of these apps. All right, PrizePicks, we're going to use that with correlation. Underdog, they just have straight up better payouts. Okay, and then on REBET, you're able to bet straight money lines. You're able to bet over unders. You're able to bet spreads. So you're able to bet straight bets on REBET. You're not able to do that on PrizePicks and Underdog. On PrizePicks and Underdog, you have to bet 2-man or 3-man or 4-man or 5-man entries. With REBET, you can bet 1 entry like King's money line, take that and be, that's your bet. So King's money line is the play of the day for REBET. Again, I would not be surprised if this bumps down to something like plus 200 by game time, which is amazing closing line value. Now, they are underdogs in this game. The Kings are underdogs. So keep that in mind. We're not supposed to win this entry, but if we do, we're going to get paid out a ton if this does hit. So that's nice to see there. If this does hit, we're going to get paid out a lot more money than, if we took some crazy overdog or something like that, all right? So REBET is available in all these orange states. Get REBET, you get a $100 deposit match. Second pick of the day is going to be on CHALKBOARD, okay? CHALKBOARD, another one, right? I talked about REBET, I talked about Underdog, I talked about PrizePicks. CHALKBOARD, they give out a discount pretty much every single day. You have LaMelo Ball, 1 point. He needs to get 1 point. So he's obviously going to do that, guys. He's going to get this probably within 2 minutes of the game starting. And then all we have to follow is Nick Clifford to go under 19.5 points plus assists, okay? So they also have a deposit match on CHALKBOARD. But again, you get the gist here, what I'm talking about. A lot of our picks are going to be on PrizePicks and Underdog, honestly, going forward. But if you don't have CHALKBOARD, you're at a disadvantage because you're not able to take a pick like this, right? I can take a pick like this because I have CHALKBOARD. A lot of people watching this video have CHALKBOARD. If you don't have CHALKBOARD yet, get CHALKBOARD, because LaMelo 0.5 is the only, this app is the only way you're going to get LaMelo 0.5 and get, a full 3x for this, okay? So if Nick Clifford goes under we will win a 3x for this entry right here because, again, LaMelo Ball is a guarantee that he's going to go ahead and go over, okay? So that's the play. That's the second play on Chalkboard. The third pick is going to be on PrizePicks, all right? Everyone loves PrizePicks. Again, how do we use PrizePicks and how do we, you know, traditionally have we won over the past 27, 28 months, whatever it is? You know, when you see this graph here, how have we won like this? I have like 500 videos on this channel, and a lot of them are talking about the same things, talking about correlation, and we're using correlation in League of Legends, okay? So I'm taking the unders on these two guys in these two games, all right? This pick especially, if you really are just like, man, I don't want to play 3-man, I just want to find some wins. Again, I highly recommend you play this as a 3-man, but if you really don't, I would go ahead and take this guy. I would take this guy right here, this Shun guy, and I would take him under 17. My absolute favorite pick of the day. His line should be more like 15 right now, okay? And if you're thinking to yourself, okay, it's at 17, it should be more like 15. That's not that big of a deal. This is a massive deal. I'm telling you, this line is probably going to bump to 15 or 15.5 or something like that by game time, which is a huge discrepancy and a huge bump, and you're never going to find something like this in the NBA unless you just get extremely early to some injury news or some crazy trade news or something, okay? So you're never really going to find someone's points at like 17, and then by game time, I can almost guarantee you that this guy will bump down to 15.5. Okay, I've been doing this long enough. I know that this guy's going to bump down to at least 16, okay? So huge discrepancy right here. I love this pick. Love this pick. And then we have this pick as well. I would take this as a 3-man, and I'm taking the unders because if they end up losing this game a little bit more than they're winning, they're probably going to go under together, right? It's very correlated together. That's how League of Legends works. And then the third pick to round out this 3-man is Grayson Allen over 17.5 points. The NBA plays have not been up to par recently, right? I'll be the first one to say it. Grayson Allen's been on a tear. I'm taking him over tonight. I like his line. I like his. I looked at his line on other sports books and stuff, and you're able to get him at a good valuation right now on PrizePicks compared to what DraftKings and FanDuel and everything have him at. Okay, so this is going to be the 3-man of the day. This is going to be the 2-man of the day on Chalkboard, and then this is going to be the straight bet of the day, which is Kings money line. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Please leave a like and comment on this video, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.